Hello you, welcome to this fragrant little corner of the internet. I never do one of those YouTuber intros, so if you are new here, my name is Sam. I speak about everything fragrance related, and I believe that perfume is not one size fits all, so why not find the fragrance that is for you? And so today we are talking about almond fragrances. I did a poll for you guys on which fragrant note you would like me to focus on, and almond won, and I am really excited about this category because I have quite a few almond fragrances, and almond is something that I normally gravitate towards when I read a notes list, but it is quite a trendy type of note to incorporate because it is a nice nutty alternative to vanilla. So, you know, there are lots and lots of fragrances out there that incorporate almond, but I'm going to focus on fragrances where the almond note is particularly prominent. There are lots of commercial fragrances out there with the almond note, like L'Homme Idéal by Guerlain, Givenchy's Pie, Hypnotic Poison by Dior, all the way to Poison Girl by Dior, Elie Saab's Girl of Now, even Kilian's Rolling in Love, that also incorporates almond, and that to me is also quite a commercial take on almond. So these fragrances, you should never really worry about gender of fragrances. This is for anyone who wants to smell like an almond. These are the fragrances that you should go towards. So first off, we have Baccarat Rouge 540, the Extrait, because the Extrait has the almond note incorporated, and most of this fragrance is just the EDP DNA. So that warm yet cool, spun sugary effect, but then with that bitter almond note incorporated. If you are not familiar with Baccarat Rouge 540, which I think most people are, I have a full review on the EDP and Extrait and comparing the two. But yes, this is the one that is known for that bitter almond note. I wouldn't say that the almond is at the forefront. Like I said, it is more of that BR 540 DNA that you feel. But if you smell closer, you will notice that bitter almondness in this fragrance. So almond in perfumery can go very bitter. It can go very, very sweet, marzipan-like, very gourmand. So this fragrance, I feel like lies somewhere in the middle, but it also incorporates heliotrope. Heliotrope and almond go very well together and are actually usually in similar compositions. So the heliotrope works to sweeten the almond, and this fragrance is Kiss Me Intense by Nicolaï. And this one is just a very jolly, happy almond fragrance. I will say that this fragrance comes off a little bit more floral than actual true almond because of that heliotrope, and there's also vanilla in here to make it, you know, this tasty floral fragrance. It's very spring-like, like you are outside and you are smelling some heliotropes, and heliotrope has this sort of honey-like, this nectary, syrupy type of quality. So this is like imagining the almond blossom and what that would smell like. So almond incorporated into some sort of blossoming tree. And yeah, this one is very nice. Another fragrance that focuses on that interplay of almond and heliotrope, but then with some added violet. So it is a pretty violet feeling kind of fragrance, is Juliette Has a Gun's Liquid Illusion. This one is quite a potent fragrance on me. It's very sweet. So this is sort of the almond that is in the middle, the floral kind of almond, but is moving more towards the gourmand area, but not exactly going there yet. And I find this to be kind of a nice, dreamy take on almond because it has that powderiness to it. It has orris in here as well. So it, you know, it is that liquid illusion, you know, the name actually suits it quite well. It's one of my favorites from the luxury collection by Juliette Has a Gun. And yeah, check this one out if you enjoy a nice orris violet with an incorporation of almond. The next almond fragrance that I have is a really interesting take on almond. It's called Frangipani by Lush Perfume Library, and this one is called Frangipani, but really it's more of an almond. Absolutely. Almond takes center stage in this one. It becomes a little bit on the gourmand side, and there is this added depth of guaiac wood in the base of this fragrance, but you do feel that almond maybe a slight hint of a Frangipani, like yellow floral, but definitely almond dominant, and then moving in towards the gourmand territory. But this one I think is, I don't know, you might have the association of smelling marzipan with this one, but it's not a dead-on marzipan. It's kind of moving towards marzipan territory, and I think it's quite cool. The next almond fragrance that I would like to bring to your attention is a soft take on the almond. This is like a fleeting walking by gush of almond, but it's also powdery and romantic. This is Florentina by Sylvaine Delacourte, and this is a fragrance that shows subtle elegance. It's you don't want to be too full on with your almond. You want to have it blended in this creamy, soft melange that kind of hints at Tante Neige, so the quintessential powdery fragrance, the queen of powdery fragrances, but you want a little step back. You want it to be a little bit softer, a little bit more wearable in all sorts of settings. Florentina is the type of fragrance that reminds you of falling in love. It is just so soft and gentle and so beautifully measured. It's a fragrance that is inoffensive, so I think that it would work in all types of settings. Now, if you want a true almond, and I mean, this is probably the best straightforward almond fragrance that exists. It is Pure Eve by the Different Company, and this one is neither sweet nor bitter. It's pretty much the rendition of the real thing of biting into an almond, except it also has this sort of airy quality to it, so it's not suffocating. It is not too fleeting. It is just right. I really adore Pure Eve by the Different Company, and this one I actually am crazy for not owning because it is one of my favorite almond fragrances out there. Now, one of the first almond fragrances that I had ever smelled where I realized that almond could be a dominant note was Tardes by Carner, Barcelona. This is a cult almond fragrance pretty much. It's a very popular take on almond. I love it because it's breezy. It's a musky almond. So it's an almond that actually can be like overpowering because of that muskiness in it if you overdo it. But if you get the right amount of this on you, this is just perfect. Like the perfect, not too sweet almond that is also cool and laid back. This brand in general started off doing very laid back fragrances. Now they also do extraits and lots more powerful fragrances to follow the trends, I suppose. But D600 from this brand, that was the fragrance that got me into vetiver. So Carner just has a really nice laid back vibe. It's a brand from Barcelona, so they're by the sea. Yeah, it would suit all kinds of occasions as well. And I think that this is a good starter almond fragrance for most people. So if you are an enthusiast of tobacco fragrances and you would like to also test something that has some almond incorporated, then definitely check out Bois Doré by Van Cleef and Arpels. This one I initially got because I wanted a vanilla fragrance, and it did not end up being very vanillic. It actually ended up being a nice sweet tobacco fragrance with the incorporation of almond. It's actually like this in between of almond and tonka, but if you smell closely, you can definitely feel some almond in this fragrance. And yeah, it's just a really nice classy take. If you like a little bit of a woody vibe to your fragrance as well, there's teak wood in this fragrance that adds that really nice classiness that you feel with woody fragrances. So check this one out. I think that this is a nice evening fragrance as well. I wear this one personally in the evening, but of course you can wear it whenever the heck you feel like. Yeah, a nice classy subtle take with almond. So now I'm going to move into more of the gourmand territory. So let's get really sweet up in here. Some of these were quite sweet, but now let's get really sweet. We'll start off with Mandorlo di Sicilia. This one is, I love this one in summertime. I included this one in my summer goddess fragrance video or whatever. Longevity of this one is not the best. I don't usually talk about longevity too much unless if it's actually remarkable how poor it is, then I will bring that up, or if it's actually remarkable how long lasting it is, then I will bring that up as well. But this is always subjective to whether you spray it on your skin or your clothing or what your skin chemistry is, yada yada yada. You've heard it all before, I'm sure. And Mandorlo di Sicilia is, for me, very nice because it is gourmand, but not there. You're not at cake yet. You're sort of at the marzipan, but it's also not cloying, and I find this to be a nice wearable gourmand for people who are a bit shy to go 100% there. Now, if you want your straight up marzipan, then you need to check out Italica by Sergioff Casamorati. This one, it is worth the hype. This fragrance is quite hyped up because I feel like gourmands in general are having this boom recently, and every brand is bringing out a gourmand fragrance, but the Casamorati line is the gourmand line if you're a gourmand lover. And Italica, upon first application, is your marzipan cake. I'm half Danish. I love my marzipan, obsessed with my marzipan. So the opening of this fragrance is just straight up edible marzipan. So good. But then it also incorporates a lot of toffee into this. It's quite like tonic as well, the way that you would mix all of these elements into a very delicious dessert. And yeah, definitely check this one out if you are up for a very sweet almond fragrance. Another cult almond fragrance is from Keiko. It is called Loukhoum, and this one is inspired by the Turkish delights. So it has that almond incorporated, but also with some rose. It gives you that really nice Turkish vibe of having that smoldering Loukhoum in your mouth. And this was Keiko Misheri's first fragrance that was released back in the 80s, I believe. So this one is a really big cult fragrance. It is delicious. It is, yeah, definitely one to check out if you are into a dessert like almond. And there you have it, almond fragrances that I think are absolutely worth checking out for all of you guys who are interested in smelling like a lovely or a light or a delicious almond, depending on what your taste is. I hope that I have found something for you if you're interested in trying out this note. What almond fragrances have I not included in this list that maybe should have been here? Let me know. I'm sure that I've tried most almond fragrances out there, but if there are any gems that you feel that all of us need to know about, please leave us a comment down below. Do not keep them to yourself, and I will see you in my next review video. Bye.